Thank you very much, Dean Plager, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, family, and friends. Congratulations, graduates, and thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this momentous day. It is a great honor to be here. Commencement is truly a celebration of hard work, dedication, and persistence. It is a time to remember the countless hours of studying, cramming before final exams, and the fond memories created during this amazing journey. As a very recent college graduate, I vividly remember the emotions I felt as I sat where you now sit today. There is no question in my mind that as you stand on the verge of what many call real life, intense feelings of joy and elation are mixed with feelings of doubt and uncertainty. For weeks, I have pondered over the appropriate message to convey during a commencement speech. So like any astute college graduate, I conducted research, asking colleagues, advisors, friends, family, and my fiancé for advice. Despite this exhaustive research, I was no closer to understanding what message I should give today. Although I did receive great advice, the responses were so diverse that I was more confused than before I had started the research. One bit of advice I felt I could apply and share with all of you today comes from a colleague, friend, and mentor, fellow Regent Judy Crane. She said, "Just realize they don't want you to talk that long anyway." With a lack of direction and a large responsibility, I combed over my short 26 years of life experiences and realized that failure had played a large role in my recent successes, which are presumably the reasons I was invited to speak here today. This conclusion may seem paradoxical, even a little absurd. Nevertheless, as I reflected at a failing at a UW lacrosse at the age of 19, it seemed highly unlikely that I would be standing here only 7 years later delivering a commencement address. I remember packing all my worldly belongings into my 1993 Hyundai Excel hatchback, and at that moment, success felt a million miles away. I was going home to live with my parents, an arrangement neither me or my parents were very thrilled about. After a few months of living in the basement and occasionally sleeping in my car because I missed my parents' strict midnight curfew, tensions mounted at home. After a few meetings with an Army recruiter, I was wholly convinced that life in the Army was much better than living in my parents' basement. Looking back, I think I may have been a little naive. But it turned out to be a great decision and resulted in an experience that I will cherish for the rest of my life. I signed up for 3 years of active duty and spent the first 2 years at Fort Campbell with the 101st Airborne Division. It was an immensely challenging time in my life, especially as I found out I was going to be deployed to Iraq for the last year of my commitment to the Army. My tour in Iraq was the culmination of my military service and would put my 2 years of intense training to the test. The day I walked off the plane coming home from Iraq was one of the best days of my life. I had succeeded. Not only had I fulfilled my commitment to the Army, but for the past year I had lived in a country where people were trying to kill me every day. This success helped rebuild my confidence and gave me the courage to go back to college. Although I would like to take credit for this success, I alone cannot. I am always reminded of those who served with me, friends and family who sent care packages, and fellow soldiers who paid the ultimate price with their life. Their strength and support helped me through some very difficult situations. So as you embrace your success today, please take a moment to look around at your administrators, professors, friends, and family who have supported you in your battle to become a college graduate. Although I didn't mention it earlier, when I walked off the plane, I was holding my acceptance letter to UW-Plateau. While in Iraq, I spent countless hours on the internet and on the phone, applying to colleges and universities. I was initially devastated when I received my rejection letter to UW-Plateau and seriously questioned my ability to return to school and be successful. When I shared the news with my sergeant, he reminded me, an education is one thing no one can ever take away from you. Reassured by this, I appealed the admission decision and was admitted on final academic probation. Although there were many uncertainties about how I would make the transition from soldier to student, only 45 days after returning home from Iraq, I was sure I would succeed. 3.5 years later, I graduated with a double major in business administration with an emphasis in finance and comprehensive business and economics. During that time, I served in many leadership roles at UWP and even represented the school at a national championship. Although I'm unemployed and uncertain where I'll be living next year, I'm confident I will succeed. Failures are many times the embarrassing details of our lives, which we all too often would like to forget. In my limited experience, I have learned that failure is inevitable, and no matter how hard you try to avoid it, it will always find you. Despite that fact, I can also say, with reasonable certainty, that success is also inevitable, if you continue to try, regardless of your previous failures. Some believe that luck is a factor of success. Others claim that there is statistical evidence that some are more likely to succeed than others. Contrary to those beliefs, I believe when we are confident in ourselves, we are all capable of great success, and our educational attainment is a building block on the road to bigger and better things. It is easy to lose sight at the end of the tunnel, especially when we face an uncertain future. But as we wade into uncertainty, we must wade with confidence. Confidence that our education has immense value. Confident that we share an important responsibility in shaping the future. And confident that no matter what the challenge, success is inevitable if we relentlessly pursue our dreams. I am sure over the course of the next few weeks, many of you have important decisions to make about what to do next. Whether it's choosing a roommate, finding a place to live, finding a job, or deciding what school you'll continue your education at, don't spend too much time worrying about it. I'm confident, no matter what you decide, you have what it takes to be successful. Graduates, congratulations on this momentous achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the class of 2010.